In this lesson, we will learn to use Spring MVC's model to present information to our view layer. Now, within an MVC framework, the model is used to abstract all of our different data or information in the system from the view. So we're not seeing our domain objects or our entities showing up within our different JSP files, or we're not seeing them ingrained within other views that our application has. In our demonstration, we are going to display a project, which is a new class within our project. Here is a project class that just has a name, a description, a sponsor, authorized hours, authorized funds, a year. So it has all these different fields, and we are going to display that project object on our home.jsp page, which has been modified to display a current project. So here we see that we want to display the project name, the sponsor name, and a description of our project. Within our controller, we're going to collect this information about our entity, our domain object, and then we're going to pass it into our model, and that model will then be available when rendering our view. When we're working with the model, the first thing we need to do is we need to pass the model as an argument to our controller method. And you simply do that by using an argument of type model, and it's pretty typical to name that argument model. And now we're actually going to build within our goHome method our project object that we would like to pass to our view. So I'm just going to use the new constructor to create a new project. We can import the project, and now we'll just set a few fields. So project.setName, and we'll call it first project. And now we'll set the sponsor. So set sponsor. We'll say this project is sponsored by NASA. Now we're going to give a little description. So set description, and we'll say this is a simple project sponsored by NASA. We have created a project, and now what we're going to do is we're going to place that project within the model. I'm just going to invoke the add attribute method on the model, and this works very similar to a map. We need to provide a string as a key for the first argument. I'm going to call this current project, and then we provide a object as the second argument, and that's going to be the value associated with this key. So I'm just going to pass in the project. Now the project will be available within our model when we render the home.jsp page. And the nice thing about Spring MVC is that it's going to take each model attribute and it's going to make it a request attribute so that we can access that attribute using JSP-EL within the JSP page. In order to show that information, all we need to do is go to our view and use some JSP-EL to reference the current project object and the fields we would like. We use the name, and I'm just going to copy this, and we'll go down to our second span, and we'll input the sponsor, and then finally we will add the description. And what we can do now is, since everything is in place, we can run our application. So I'm just going to go to the Package Explorer, hit Shift-Alt-X, then R, and this will launch our application. There we see the Pivotal TC server taking off. Here goes our console, and eventually we're going to have our page load. And now when we hit that context root, that object is inserted into our model, and that model is available to our view to render the information it contains. This is just a simple overview of using our model within Spring MVC.